There we go. I think we're live. Hey, guys, it's Tim Gillette, Tim Gillette Show. And I've got Adam Kawalec here today. Now, I love this because I get to find out who this guy is. I really did very little stuff. I know he's a success coach and he's really good at it from a lot of people I've heard. But this is the first time we actually get to meet Adam.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And you know, I'm as thrilled as you are because, as you said, it is the first time we get to meet face to face like this, and I'm really grateful for you having me on the show.
Yeah. So Adam, where do you live right now?
Well, that's a really funny story. I am from Sweden, so I'm born and raised in Sweden, but I do travel quite a bit. Luckily, with the age of technology, I am able to travel all around the world and still be doing what I'm doing, which is online coaching. So I was actually living on Tenerife, one of the Canary Islands, just until like 2 weeks ago before everything happened.
I was going to say, because you're probably not traveling right now.
Exactly. I actually came back to Sweden only for work, and I was going to stay for about 12 days or so. But then everything got cancelled, the flights got moved up and all of that. And 10 minutes before I got on this call today, I was sent another information about my next flight, which is in a month's time, is now cancelled. So it looks like I'm not going to be able to return home for quite some time. Luckily, I brought my partner with me. So she's with me in Sweden. So things are good. I'm from Sweden, and right now I'm stuck in Sweden.
Wow. So I know, yeah, like my event's a month away, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still worried about it. I am, and my next right now, because of everything, I'm canceled to the 29th of March or of April myself. Yeah, is my next out, and that is, he still thinks it's going to go on, but we'll see. I
really hope it works out for you. One of my own events got cancelled while I was in Sweden for that very reason of everything getting shut down. And I have to say, like in Sweden, we're taking a very liberal stance on this whole thing. I don't know if you've seen this, but we are able to move around. We are able, schools are open and kindergartens are open, stuff like that. So Sweden is really taking as I said, a very liberal stance on this, and we kind of have the numbers going in our favor. So we're not seeing a huge spike or anything. So time will tell whatever action or approach was the best one.
Yeah. But this comes, this comes in our world. I mean, you and I both coach and mentor people, and this comes at a point in time where now people are going to lean on you and me even more. So, how are your clients reaching out to you on this?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the kind of mindset I like to adapt in a situation like this, right? Rather than panicking, I think it's really more about understanding that this is an opportunity for us to skill up, level up. So my clients and I've been busy. I've been really, really busy the past few days. First of all, I started checking in with my clients, just making sure everything was going well. And if they wanted to, postpone any of our calls, I allowed them to do so. All of them wanted to keep their scheduled appointment, all of them. So obviously there is a need or a sense of, they still want to continue the work we're doing. And most of the calls, of course, concerning success coaching is about, how do I remain sane? Like, how much should I panic, or should I panic at all? What's the right approach? What's the strategy to put in place? And almost all of my calls and with all the sessions with my clients, they're ending at the kind of the same note, which is time to skill up, time to level up. This is not a time to, from my perspective, it's not a time for us to retreat. This is a time for us to be role models. It's a time for us to, if anything, improve what's already working, right? So we come out of this stronger.
Yeah. So, let's face it. This is probably one of the hardest times I've seen our world in a long time. But, obviously, to get this strong as you are, all right, you've probably got a story to go with this. So let's talk about where you came from and how you got to this place now where you can now lead us through this tough times.
Beautiful.
Where'd you Sweden is where you grew up, or tell us a little bit about where you grew up, what you did.
Yeah. So that's such a beautiful way to transition into this, because As I already told, born and raised in Sweden. I moved away from Sweden when I was 21. I moved to England, spent some time there, and I picked up the accent there. I worked as a bartender. I did all of those things. Even worked as a salesman at one point, working in Glasgow, knocking on doors in the countryside. Beautiful experience. A lot of skills learned on that. And everything really changed for me when I started working. I came back to Sweden, started working for IKEA, the most Swedish after Volvo, I guess. Everybody's familiar. So I started working for IKEA. At that time, I actually trained to become a dancer and an actor. That's what I did up until I was 22.
Yeah.
And but I went to England trying to just sort of figure out, what if I didn't do acting, what could I do, besides that? Because that's the only thing I've been doing since I was 12. I attended a couple of child plays, stuff like that, and we toured around Sweden, stuff like that. Came back to Sweden. I had this idea. I'm going to make documentaries. I'm going to make movies, but I need money. I need money to fund my project. Let's go to let's apply for a job where I know it's safe and you make enough money. IKEA, perfect, great, easy enough. 3 months into it, and I was just in for it for the paycheck. 3 months into it, some of the guys working as like a couple of some top level floor managers, they came to me and said, "Hey Adam, would you be interested in like a leadership role?" I thought that was really weird because I've just been there for 3 months, and my trial period wasn't even over. And I said, "Well, does it pay more?" And they said, "Yes, it does. Count me in," because I was so focused on the money, right?
Yeah.
And instantly, as soon as I accepted the job and the responsibility, I knew what I was meant to do, which was, creating change, working with people, and doing so from a perspective of leadership, which later turned out to be self-leadership, which is all about, the coaching I do now. So I did that for about 9 years, advancing really, really fast. At the peak of my career, I was offered to become a country manager. I just turned 30. And I was about to be groomed as a country manager for IKEA. That is quite big. Because my background is acting, like I don't have the typical.
So you acted your way into leadership? All right.
You could say that. Yeah. There were definitely, things that could be translated from the acting and directing into leadership roles. All right. It's good. We're good.
Yeah, you're still good. So I mean, and it's interesting. I mean, you almost said it as a joke, but it's like really, I have a good friend who's an actor here in town and runs an actor studio, and literally, he's been in millions of roles on movies and stuff, but I consider him a leader. All right, because literally he's learned. I mean, he has to learn to adapt, and how he learns to adapt on a set, other people, because he's a more senior in the business, react to him. So it's almost like I want to joke with you on you acted your way into leadership, but really you learn the skills that were necessary to do the job. And that's wow. That's
it. It. Also, depending on what kind of acting you do and the schooling of that, I did really, character acting. So I went really, really deep into my role. And the way I was taught to do that is basically know yourself first. Because you will build on top of what's already there. That's the way to be authentic about your acting. And that's the way I've been leading. That's the way I've been coaching people to develop as well and create success. Work with what's there. Be you and be more of it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's acting, it sounds like it's completely different on the side of things. No, that was the stepping stone for the rest of it, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I had, I've been on Dean Cain. I don't know if you know Dean Cain, the guy who played Superman here in the States in the 90s.
Yeah.
I've been on a podcast with him. All right. And I said, well, I'm 50 years old. Should I go into acting? He's like, Tim, you'd be good at it. I'm like, why? He says, because you're you.
Yeah.
He says, you understand that very concept you explained of understanding who you are. I'm not going to be Dean Cain. Okay. That's not me. I like Dean. He's a great guy, but okay, I'm better at doing this than that. But it's interesting that you took skills from that and adapted them into the company. Now, I just, you know what I mean? You got to have one funny question because we see it as memes everywhere. So IKEA, when you come in for the interview, did they make you assemble the chair to sit down in? I mean,
yes, absolutely. No, not really. They gave me an IQ test. They gave me an IQ test, which really surprised me because this sounds really mean, but when I got on the floor, I was working in the warehouse, the storage units, and I was like, there's no way like that we all could pass the IQ test. Like, cause some of my friends on the floor, I have no idea how they got the job, but I can tell you it can't have been through an IQ test. But anyway, they actually did. So and well, that was way in the past of IKEA's history. But the thing is, really, IKEA is a beautiful company based on values, right? So it really recruits on values. So it's kind of like assembling a chair, but it's really about, you know, are you going to be a good fit for us? Are we going to be a good fit for you? Because a value-driven company is always that. There's this marriage of the employee and the employer. Without that, it's going to break down. So it is a bit of a...
It's so true. And you know what I mean? Now you've transitioned out of that. All right. And what did you come directly from working IKEA to into the coaching business, or did you do something in between?
So the big pivotal moment was when actually on a Friday, I was kind of groomed. Like I was doing this interview, big jury kind of interview to be taking the step towards country management. That was on a Friday. Over the weekend, I started thinking like, is this where I want to go? Because the whole thing was, I was starting to ask myself, if I say yes to this, I'll have more of what I already have, and I'm not happy. Like I'm not happy where I am. I'm not content. I'm not very satisfied. So I realized saying yes would only give me more of the unhappiness. So on the following Monday, as I was driving my car, quite some distance, going back to my store, I had this idea, like maybe I'll quit. And funny enough, the sun was coming up, so there was like the sunrise, and through the window while I was driving my car, the sun rays had just warmed me so well. Like it was just so nice, and I really took this deep breath, and I felt so peaceful, so calm, and then it hit me like, wow, I haven't felt that peaceful in such a long time. And I started thinking, if I say yes, I'm going to have less of those moments, because I can't remember the last time I felt that way. So I kind of realized that whatever I do next, I want more of this, like more of those peaceful moments. That was on Monday. I called my partner, my girlfriend at the time, which is now also my girlfriend, present girlfriend. I called her and said, hey, I'm thinking of quitting. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I'm thinking of doing it. And she said, well, you do whatever feels right. On Wednesday, 2 days later, I handed in my resignation. I left the company 2 weeks later. Like I just instantly broke up with almost the biggest love of my life. Went to Cambodia, next to Thailand, right? Because that's paradise. I just chartered an airplane, went there, started living like, I wanted to live in paradise. But I got depressed. Like the very first day, I couldn't get out of bed. So what followed was basically 5 months of a deep depression where I couldn't get out of bed.
Wow.
And I think the reason for that was because I just completely what's the English word? Obliterated? Like I completely destroyed my identity. Right? So I used to be like the Mr. IKEA. I was young. I was charismatic. Like people talked about me doing what I was doing. And all of a sudden, I just thrown that away in like a month's time. So my identity kind of had a crisis, and that brought forth the depression. In that, I took to books. Like I read a lot because I had like 5 months. I didn't have to do anything because I had enough money to tie me over. I read and I meditated. I explored all of that, and finally coming out of that, I realized, because it was just like one question I managed to answer for myself, and it was this: what was it about IKEA that I loved and liked and kind of still want to do? And I came up with 3 things: work with people, create, make a change and coach. Because even at IKEA, my biggest weapon is not the right word, but my biggest asset was coaching. Coaching leadership. So I realized, okay, I want to do that. So I was like, can you make money out of that? Like, can you actually do this? And this was around 2013. Of course you can. Of course you can. I wasn't familiar with the business of coaching. So I went back to Sweden, started studying, hired my own coach, started training, and basically started my own business. At that point, it was more about health and sustainable change coaching, quickly transitioning in towards entrepreneurship and success coaching, leadership coaching. But that's kind of the story of how that happened through these, these challenging times.
Through the speed bumps of life.
Sure, exactly so.
But I find it interesting. You said something there about, that moment of driving into work, and you getting that moment of clarity and that moment of peace in your life. I've been there. All right. I sold a company and didn't know what I was going to do. And literally, I had Zig Ziglar tell me, Tim, you need to be a coach. And I'm like, what's a coach, Zig? I didn't know. I really didn't. But I sat there. I want to tell you, I didn't believe it. He told me that. It took me 6 years, because he told me in 2004, and I didn't do anything about it until 2010. 6 years of doubt, self-doubt, going, no, you can't make money doing that. And yet now I hear you do it, all right? And you had a great job, all right? Great leadership. People counted on you. And even you had a period of that doubt and depression. And do you think maybe we all go through it, and maybe it's something many of us probably need to speak up to a coach and address right now, especially in times we're going through right now?
Yeah, I've through the career as a coach and working with other coaches and also hiring coaches, I've gathered that some of us, I don't know, this is maybe the first time I'm saying this, but it's almost like in my head now, when I'm thinking about it, it's like we've got two groups of coaches. It's like the ones who have this calling, like just kind of, there's something in that self-leadership, that part of making an impact and wanting to serve people. And it's almost like that accidental hero. And then you have some people who just like really just want to, work with people. They know that, like, hey, I've got something valuable, I'm going to teach. And I think from where I'm coming from, coaching to me is different from giving advice and being a consultant and a teacher, because coaching to me is so much more about not necessarily giving the answers, but having our clients ask bigger questions. So what I mean by that is, as a coach, it's so much focus on the client, the person in front of you, rather than it is about you. And I've come to see that in our coaching profession right now, we are, which has been happening for many, many years, but we are seeing more and more people becoming coaches. But I think that there's a confusion there where some are giving more advice, telling people what to do, rather than actually using coaching as a skill. And I think way back when I started, my slogan was sustainable change. It was something I borrowed from IKEA, because that's what I did through leadership. I created sustainable change, with focus on environmental change, but also the productivity and efficiency in the company. I borrowed that because through the years of working in IKEA, I got to understand how the human mind works. I simply applied those principles in my coaching practice with my clients. And that's why I know, if we're wanting sustainable change, if we want value for the money invested in a coach, work with a real coach, work with someone who's coaching you, not giving you advice. Because the real coaching tends to stay longer.
And almost, Adam, I've said this before, and maybe you believe this way or not, but I've always thought that good leaders follow other good leaders. It's like, I don't believe that, like, just because people label me as a leader, that like I'm the top of the heap. I'm like, no, I got here because I'm following a bunch of other people. And it sounds like that's what you went through as well. You followed some other great people who led you, and then because of that, you've got a following of people going, well, I want to follow you, Adam, because you can lead me.
That's it. When he was speaking, I got goosebumps. That's exactly what I think leadership is, and that human to human connection.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I could easily talk about this for a whole hour or a day. So let's not. I guess.
We could trust me. We could do that one. I mean, there's like 50 million conversations we could have in an hour.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I totally agree. Good leadership is also there's this level of I really believe we are all leaders and followers in different times and situations.
You're right.
Believing that you're always going to be the leader, that's not going to serve you well enough.
It's also not going to serve those people who you help.
Very true. Very true.
I firmly believe that. But anyway, if that's a philosophy line, oh my gosh, we could go down. So let's talk about some of the leaders who've helped you get here. Did you have like a leading coach or a leading mentor who you can basically accredit to go, you know what, because of them, I stepped up and went, I'm going to do this.
Well, I do have, I think one of the biggest influences for my personal development came through one of my managers back at IKEA. At one point around 2008, I hit the wall, like I burnt out completely. One of the reasons were that I was overworked. I was super, super ambitious, and I was very, very dutiful, I think would be the word. Like I sought approval. And this is kind of part of the reason why I kind of left both acting and leadership at IKEA. I'd replaced, the lost love that I craved somewhere. I replaced that with approval and appraisal from my managers. I could work tirelessly, 16 hours straight for a whole month or 2 or 3, only to get that, like, good job, Adam. Good job. Pat on the back. Like, I love that. I lived for that, right?
Yeah.
But it did lead me down a very, very dark road. And eventually I burnt out because it was just like, I didn't sleep. I didn't take care of myself and all of that. And at that point, when I was completely burnt out, first I just thought I had a cold. I just didn't want to get out of bed. And that's kind of, went along with like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And my manager, she was like very small. She you obviously got different metrics than we do, but like she was like 1.4 meters. Like she was a hobbit-sized woman.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And she used to be like a submarine officer. So it was perfect. She obviously fitted the role in a submarine, small and all of that. But her power, her presence, I'm going to say presence. It was so impressive. She called me up and she said, Adam, let's have a coffee somewhere else, like not at work, like just you and me. And I was going like, oh yeah, finally someone's going to pity me. This, because I've kind of busted my, my chops to do this for you guys. Now someone's going to give me more approval. She sat me down at this cafe. She listened to me, every word I was saying. And then finally she said, Adam, here's the thing. I know what you're going through. I want to support you. But here's the thing. I need you back at work. Like I need someone in that role and I need that person to perform. If that can't be you, I'm going to support you 100% in whatever you need. But if you're telling me now that's going to be you, I need you back 100%. You've got a choice to make. I'm going to replace you or I'm going to support you. But I'll support you either way. And I felt like betrayed. I was like, God, that's not how I pictured this going. Like I thought I was going to be, pitied and just be given love and comfort. So I got really pissed off. A couple of days later, I just kind of decided, no, I'm not going to lose my job. No, I'm not going to be replaced now. I've worked too hard for it. So I went back, and that was like I think it was like 3 months of constant headache, and I was crawling along the walls. I didn't want to bump into anyone. I didn't want to be asked questions or interact with people because I was just kind of like still very, very sore. But she delivered. Like, she delivered so well every single day, several times a day. She would walk up to me and go like, Adam, how are you? Think about this, do this. Like, I'll support you with that. She honestly, she must have spent so much time nurturing me back into my role as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that she really taught me was that, if we really, she taught me the reason why I burnt out was because I didn't ask for help. Like, I thought I had to do everything myself. Mm-hmm. She showed me a way to really step up. She showed me a way to, even though you might not feel like it, there's a way for you to be strategic about things, ask for help, involve others, don't isolate yourself, all of those things. Within months after returning, that's when I joined the management group of the store for the first time. I was the youngest person in IKEA to join the management group at that age.
Wow.
And that came after I burnt out with the support of her, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say Katarina, her name, that would have been the biggest influencer for that realization that, hey, personal development is real. Up until then, I'd never done any development. Things just happened.
Yeah.
But I would say that, and also, I don't know if you're familiar with Steve Chandler.
I've heard that name, Steve Chandler. I've heard that name. Yeah.
An amazing coach and author, written probably close to 40 books now. Mm-hmm. A lot of them around coaching and living a life, much more beautifully than normally you would. His books, his teachings, his audios, stuff like that has really influenced my coaching, my practice, and my business for sure.
Cool. So, so you've gotten that mentor that you got stuff from in life, all right, that helped you and you become a better you. Mm-hmm. Now, let's switch it to your clients, all right? Do you have clients right now that you could tell without giving all their personal details, but maybe tell some things how you've helped a client do the same thing?
Great. Yeah, for sure. Like, one of my current clients, this is a good story, actually. It's such a great, like a success story. Mm-hmm. One of my clients, he's a quite a big, and in double meaning, he's a huge guy as a personal trainer, and he's one of Sweden's most popular personal trainers, and he does a lot of a business online. Now, when we started working together, he was in a place where he felt depressed. He just, like, he was kind of side hustling his business at the moment, and he won a lot of competitions with his bodybuilding physique and all of those things. Mm-hmm. And he crashed, and he didn't really feel the joy in or playfulness in any of the things that he was doing. So he had a job in a warehouse, just making good money doing that, and on the side trying to do his coaching and get back into training and competing. We started talking, and within a couple of sessions, his mood started changing. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we did was kind of what we started, you and I, be more of it. Mm-hmm. Which is like, figure out who you are and start aligning your thoughts, your actions, your words with that. And instead of, making excuses, living life on someone else's terms, kind of. Mm-hmm. We did that for him together with this whole idea of, if you're waiting to do something before you feel like it, chances are you're going to wait for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm saying is, like, and you probably heard this, right? Mood follows action.
Yes.
So instead of waiting to feel motivated, mm-hmm. actually generating the motivation, you do that by getting into action. Mm-hmm. Those two things started to really shift his reality mm-hmm. in such a big way that after just a few months. The cool thing was we met like every second week, mm-hmm. doing having like 90-minute sessions, 120-minute sessions. And at one point he said, Adam, would you be open to coaching me like every week? Because I really feel like I think that would benefit me. And I said, yeah, I am open to that. And I honestly believe that is a game changer. So we did that. We set up a program where I started coaching him every single week. Now things really, really started to change. He increased his income with 80%, which is absolutely amazing. Like his goal, we are crushing it this year. And all of that is thanks to, as I said, be you, be more of that. Don't wait for motivation to find you, get into action, right? And the accountability, the support, and the seriousness around showing up for himself in our coaching sessions. That's been the big game changer. So, that's when I ask him, can you share some of the things that you've created for yourself since we started? Like the list is amazing. The things that he can share with me and others is just like mind blowing. Yeah. And I can honestly say he's not alone. Like I have other clients creating similar things for themselves. And a lot of times it comes through this success coaching, as I call it, which I have to say, like most of the time just is really about redefining success, making it more on your terms than on someone else's terms.
Yeah. Well, cool. So tell us a little bit about how people, how they find you. All right. What is the places they get connected with you to become clients?
Sure. Great. I mean, one of the things that I've done, and I pride myself of this, is that I've actually never really used marketing to build my business. It's all been through word of mouth.
Okay.
And so I've managed to build my business on completely just referrals. And because I have this idea, if you serve someone so hard, they can't shut up about you.
Yeah.
It's just very, very recently. One of my clients, she lives in England. She's a voice coach. Yeah. She lives in England, and we've been working almost for a year together, and the transformation is amazing. Her mother, so this woman I'm working with, she lives in England, but she's actually from San Francisco. Her mother lives on Hawaii, and her mother is noticing the change in my client so much that she can't shut up about the work I'm doing with her. Wow. So she's telling, and she's a cleaner. She's a house cleaner on Hawaii. So she's got clients, and she's even telling them the transformation that her daughter's been going through together with her coach. They are contacting me. So my clients' mother's clients are contacting me to work with me.
Wow.
So how do you become a client of mine? Well, you probably need to know someone first, or you've had an experience, which is, it could be something like this. You've listened to a podcast, you've happened to stumble upon my website. I've just recently started using social media because that's the thing. I didn't even use that like 2 months ago. So if you go on my social media like Facebook or Instagram, you're going to see a couple of videos, and I'm really proud of them. They're ideas and messages I love to share, things I do with my clients. But I've actually never really done that in a public way before. I've just kept that on, with my one-on-one clients. So but if any one of your listeners or viewers want to actually get in touch, one of the best ways is, obviously through my webpage, which is, sliding over the screen, which is adamkawalec.com, but also Instagram, Adam Kawalec Coaching. You can find me there, and also on Facebook, which are places where I get to really be, I like to say intimate with my followers there.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good to have all those things out there, but, more and more people are going, well, if I had a system to work on referrals only, I wouldn't be doing marketing, but I'm a marketing coach. So I've got to do the marketing tool.
Yeah.
And it's even I have a marketing coach, and my marketing coach, I think, is a genius. All right. And, but that's it. You know what I mean? If I could only work on that, but I have to be in the marketing field because that's what I do. Sure. You're leaders, so you're in the leadership field, so you have to be a leader to people and lead them to better worlds. So this has been an interesting talk with you. So I learned quite a bit. First of all, I didn't know you worked for IKEA. I mean, that's cool to find out. To find out that you had issues, that you had a leader boost you up, and then you in turn are pulling up people as well. So. Is there anything that you think that, like any advice you want to give to the audience who maybe now they're seeing you for the first time, or they're watching this on the recording? Any points of advice you want to give them?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd like to add, something that you just said about marketing. I think I probably make a statement when I'm saying like I don't use marketing. That's one way of looking at it. The truth is, if you're looking to make any kind of change, I think we're all in marketing.
We are, yeah.
So I think it's not actually. I mean, it's a little bit of a gimmick to say, "Hey, I don't use marketing." The truth is, I do, of course. It's just the marketing that I do is it's really about finding the like-minded people, which is completely what marketing is about, right? I tend not to necessarily wouldn't say, hey, I'm in a certain niche, whatever.
I've heard it pronounced both ways. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. But actually, just like in my case, what I like to do is I like to go like raise my hand and say, hey, this is what I believe in. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I want for the world, want for people around me. If you kind of resonate with that, let's have a conversation, right? So it is marketing, of course. It's just a different kind of marketing.
Okay.
I like to talk about, instead of conversion, focus on the conversations. So as quickly as we can, have conversations rather than looking at the numbers. So instead of playing a numbers game, we have a relationship game going. But in truth, it is relationships. It is marketing. So what I would like to say to people, like, as a really good thing, like if you're a seasoned coach or any kind of consultant or service-oriented entrepreneur, again, be you, because that's a powerful differentiator. I think it's the English word, right?
Yeah, that's the right word. Yeah.
And this could be a bit controversial, but I say stay in your comfort zone when it comes to connecting. So if your comfort zone is connecting one-on-one, face-to-face, do that. That's gonna, because you're gonna sail with the wind. Which kind of will grant you a little bit more. Yeah. If you're really good at social media, use social media. If you're really good at writing, blog, do SEOs or whatever it is, do the thing that's within your comfort zone. Because the truth is, if we were running a business, there are so many other things in our business that is outside our comfort zone. We don't have to make connecting with people, creating clients, part of that challenge. That's why I'm saying, if in my case, talking, connecting, building relationships comes easy for me. That's why I've been able to build my business the way I've done. Now, for others, that could be social media. Great, go with that. For a third person, it could be funnels. It could be this. It could be that. Great, do it. Stay in your comfort zone when it comes to that. That's my advice. I have no idea if that
stay in your lane. I guess could be more of American racing term. Stay in your lane. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Great. I guess that would be the thing I'd love to share. Yeah.
So I always like to wrap up my podcast by a little fun game I like to call This or That. I realize some of these thises or that's may be some American things that I may have to explain to you, but I'm sure you'll get them.
We'll see.
but you're willing to play the game, right?
Oh, yes, I am.
So let's start with this one here. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
All righty, man. I like this guy.
Great.
All right. Beaches or mountain?
Oh, mountains.
Mountains. Oh, man. There is something just about peace being in the mountains, isn't there? Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Tacos or hamburgers?
Taco.
See, they're not all that bad, right?
No. Oh, great. They are great questions.
Yeah. Coffee or tea?
Ah, tea.
Tea? Okay. Yeah, I kind of expected, in fact, that you lived in London, you'd like tea better.
Yep. Comes with the territory.
Yeah. So this one here always creates a little bit of a fight in several households. But how about toilet paper over or under?
Oh, over.
That one can create wars.
True.
And the last funny one, all right, is boxers or briefs?
Boxers. Great.
As you see, it's all in the name of fun, guys.
For sure.
Well, Adam, one more time, say your name, you say your website out for those people who are on the audio. Make sure we get it all clear. All right. And I hope people connect with you. It's been an honor getting to know you today, and I'm looking forward to doing more with you. So repeat your website one more time.
Sure. So my website is www.adamkawalec.com. And you can also find me on Instagram with the same kind of information, Adam Kawalec Coaching.
Yep. So, Adam, it has been an honor to have you here. All right. And, I'm so glad I got to know you now. And I'm looking forward to seeing you more now that we know each other.
I thank you, Tim. Thank you very much for having me on the show. And I really, really enjoyed this conversation for sure.
Yeah, I did. I think I enjoyed it more, but we're not going to compete over this.
Great.
All right, guys. Tim Gillette Show. Catch me next time when bring another interesting guest who I'm going to get to know too, apparently, because I don't know them. Anyway, we're doing right now a current series of 100 interviews in 30 days. And I think we're on number 6. Trust me, there's a lot more to come. And I'll be talking to you guys soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.